But
how does jail compare to prison?
In my personal opinion, if you got time to do, prison is the way to go. 1,000,000%. So much better. So much more to do. You can actually go outside and walk around and see the sunlight. Check out a guitar with your ID or whatever. So much better to do time in prison. Like if you have a year to do, trust me, I'd rather be in prison than jail. Jail's like a deck of cards and a TV and a bunch of angry men that don't know their fate yet. At least men in prison have somewhat become resigned.
Y'all had cards? They had gone on a hunger strike the month before to get Kool-Aid at my jail.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah. It was I was so glad to get out of jail. I didn't shower or eat for like 2 days, 3 days, however long I was in there. I was like, we'll get out soon. We'll get out soon. And then another day would pass.
Yep.
For sure today, right?
Surely this is going to be the end of this.
Yeah.
You guys were so close together and you were both in federal prison. I was interested. I even wrote it down. I wanted to hear because Kyle,
they're at the same, literally there at the same identical time?
No, I don't think so. I transferred out of Talladega in 2016.
Okay.
But I was there from 14 to 16, and I did actually sit on the softball field at Talladega, like 300 yards away from you would later be, and go, bro, do you remember that Russian guy that used to do the gun videos on YouTube? My boy was like, yeah, man, FPSRussia, that shit was crazy. He had the gun thrower, the flamethrower, and all the big guns. And I was like, yeah. And little did I know,
I'll be staying down there soon.
Yeah, right next door. He'd be at the camp just in a few short years, which I don't really know too terribly much about the camp. I had a friend called Atlas that came over from there, got caught with the phone, but from what I heard, it was a relatively sweet time, right? I mean,
I think definitely compared to medium security, because everyone that had come from a medium security or that medium security prison was really happy to be in the camp.
Hell yeah, I bet they were.
And like a lot of them would tell nightmare stories of that place. And whenever somebody would get caught, they would be like, I hope they just put him in the hole. They don't transfer him to medium. And I remember one day they were picking us out to go serve lunch up there because they were in lockdown. They were like, they're locked down in their cells. And so their lunch is going to be passed through on a tray. And it's not going to be a regular lunch. It'll be like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Of course, yeah.
And so they're picking out like 5 or 10 of us to go up there and make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and put them through doors. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking go. And she's like, well, you don't have a choice. And I'm thinking like, I think I do probably, but I don't really want to argue this. Let me just point out that I'm not medically cleared to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that'll be that, because that was the case. I always dodged that medical clearance, as like no matter what.
TB test or something?
Why did you lie about having AIDS?
No, I took the TB test immediately. That was like the first or second thing they did.
Yeah, they stick that in my arm like that.
Yeah, they X-rayed me, and then they immediately like gave me the TB thing. That was the first. I had forgotten all about that. But no, it was just medical clearance, like basic physical, to make sure that you weren't going to drop
break
dead,
your spine or something. Yeah, passing out the trays.
Yeah, and so I was like, you guys would be liable if you send me up there to make sandwiches, and I keel over, and she's like, I guess so. I was so glad I didn't want to go up there. It sounded scary.
So you like medium more than low. Kyle wasn't in low. Kyle was in minimum, right?
Right, camp. Yeah.
Camp.
So why is medium better than low?
The reason that I like medium is because they lock the door at night. As long as you got one cellmate or two cellmates that you like and you fuck with and it's good time, the door locking is good at night, man. I sleep a lot better behind a locked door than I do in an open bay. Low security was 150 men in a room, schizophrenics, drug addicts, the thieves, everything in like an open bay room, barely divided by little short cubicles. And I had a lot of trouble sleeping because I know how mental illness is after my time in prison. I don't do well sleeping around people that aren't taking medication for their mental illnesses because I've seen them flip out and lose it and attack people in their sleep that have never said a word to them. Just a lot cleaner at the medium. People have respect at the medium. At the low security, dudes didn't have any respect because they've never been at the higher security at the pens. I've never been to the pens either, but all the other guys with me at the mediums were there, and their habits rubbed off on me, about respecting people, giving them their space, watching where you're smoking and shit, looking out for each other and not stepping on the next guy's toes and not letting your toes get stepped on. At the medium, the low security is all a bunch of 20-year-olds that got caught with a pistol and they're doing 2 years for the first time and snitched on somebody or something. Young knuckleheads that, got nothing to lose in their mind. They have no respect for anybody, and they walk into people's cells and areas without asking or any acknowledgement or anything, and they crowd people. They don't know how to walk. They don't know how to act, and then we don't get any space to even sleep. It just
I was watching
wasn't for me.
Prison YouTuber, and he was saying that when you walk past the cells, you can't look over. You can't look inside. You just eyes trained front.
Right.
I would struggle with that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to look in people's window. If you need somebody and you don't know if they're in the cell or not, you don't look in their window. You walk up, you knock on the door, and you turn around and wait. If they open the door, they open. If they don't, they don't. If they're in there, I don't know. But yeah, you're not supposed to be window. You're not supposed to be peeping Tom.
You don't know what you might see.
I'm picturing it as all bars, like kind of cages. Not these are cinder block rooms with a door and a window.
Right. The door has a small window in it. About
y'all had doors,
foot rectangle. yeah. The medium. It's big old thick doors. Steel doors, about this thick, with the big old rolling padlock.
Oh, I've seen them. They're scary as fuck. We had that bay situation with all the cubicles or whatever, with no roof bay. And just no door, and anybody could walk in there and stab you at night. But nobody's doing that over there anyway. I didn't see any crazies. There was nobody in my. There's 80 or 100 of us in that one in each dorm, and there weren't any crazies that I saw.
The mentally ill trend towards violent crime. So that might be why there were so many more at the mediums.
A lot of the people that I was in there with had come down for good behavior and earned their way down there. So they were doing the last 5 to 7 years of a much longer stint. And they were
glad to be there.
Yeah, everybody was older and pretty relaxed for the most part. There was a couple of young guys, and immediately one of them got taken to the shoe, and I never saw him again.
Yeah, the young guys are the ones that get on my nerves. I went in when I was 19, so I was one of those guys once.
I was trying. You mentioned looking into the cells, I didn't want to see anything because you might see somebody doing some criminal shit or some violent shit or some stuff that you're just not supposed to know about, or maybe just might see some embarrassing shit that you're not supposed to know about.
Unsee either way.
When I said it, I would struggle. It was really about the cage situation where it catches your eye and you have to willingly not see what you kind of saw.
Yeah,
I think I could not look through doors with windows.
Yeah, it's a little different. It's harder in jail when you're in a big open area, but in prison you actually have to be looking for it. There were plenty of times where I was walking past the cell and you can hear dudes thumping against the wall, fighting in there and stuff. Just keep on walking. That is not my business. Especially because if somebody ends up snitching on them, they're going to be wondering who walked past, who looked in there.
That's what I was going to say.
Spider-Man looked in. Yeah, Spider-Man's getting stabbed up or something.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's the biggest fear for me. That you'll look in there and you'll see something, and then someone will snitch on them, and they'll remember back to you looking in and seeing, and it's you. It's got to be
you. 100%.
I get up to take a piss at 3 a.m. and they're in there smoking spice, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to see you smoking spice, dude.
Right.
Maybe if I avert my eyes enough, I won't know what color you are. But
then when you get back to bed, 30 seconds later, the COs walk in and, hey, nah, Kyle just went in there to go pee. I just saw him. He went to the bathroom when he came out. The pigs went in there. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it would be no
Logic and reason don't work well on inmates. I can tell you that.
Why would you even snitch? Do you get your sentence reduced? What's the motivation? No. You just hurt people.
Sometimes people don't like people smoking in the bathroom because they got to smell it. Just grumpy old people want to ruin somebody else's time, and they'll go snitch or something like that. They have to be really covert about it. I can say that. Even at a low security, they'll get the shit kicked out of them for snitching. There was a dude at the low security that was actually getting paid to snitch, and they fucked up because the lieutenant went and pretended to shake down the guy's cell and left a large quantity of stamps in his locker. And everybody saw him out in front of God, and everybody put $100 worth of stamps in this dude's locker. As soon as that guy got back to his bed, he got his jaw kicked off just about and got sent to another prison.
Damn.
So having eyes is pretty dangerous.
Didn't even get to
spend his stamps. Nope. I'm pretty sure that they just took his stamps.
Are those
inmates got them anyway.
Transferable to dental credits?
He's going to need them.
I love that. We took his stamps too.
Yeah. Hey, and we took his stamps. You can get this bitch out of here. They roll them out.
It's such an awful place. Prison is awful. I know
it is.
The idea is it's for awful people. But there aren't that many awful people, truly awful.
I met more good ass normal dudes in there than I met criminals, like stereotypical criminals.
Everybody in there was so nice. You would never know that they had done anything wrong.
It'll change your perspective.
Yeah, everybody in there was so nice and just normal and just wanting. And most of them had big plans for the future about businesses and family and relationships and stuff, and they just wanted to get out.
Yep, they just need their chance. A lot of them, they just need another chance. Some of them have had their chances, to be fair, because plenty of dudes at the medium are doing life bids on their 8th time in prison and shit. But
there was a ton of contraband. It was so easy. I know at one point they told me there wasn't even a big razor wire fence there at Talladega, at least on the campsite. But there was when I was there. But I think they were just droning things in and throwing things over the fence. It was so easy because it wasn't to approach the fence. There was another layer of security. It's not like an onion type scenario. It's
it's just a fence.
You can kind of walk up to the prison if you want to. Hey, this is the prison. Look, you could look through the
just
the
through the gate.
But so I think they were throwing stuff over because There was no one making wine. People have asked me before, like, did they make that toilet wine? It's like they've got Jose Cuervo and like they've got like name brand like bottles of liquor in there.
Yeah, I've heard that about the camp. I heard y'all had free world food and free world liquor and all kinds of stuff.
They were telling me about the camp in it, or either the Low or the camp in Atlanta, one or the other, like where they had come from before, and they said it was wild there, that they were sneaking whores in. They were sneaking prostitutes in, and that they were sneaking out at night, and they would pay someone. They would pay someone. Camp. They would pay someone to come and like get in their bed, while they went out and like partied and got laid at a motel down the road.
They would sneak them in like over the fence or through the non-existent fence.
I don't recall.
Think would they sneak a prostitute in some guy's asshole?
Like on the South Park episode. Yeah. No, they would bring girls in, and they would bring homeless people in to get in beds. So if the guard came through and looked for the bed count, because they come through like regularly in the night. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the worst part about getting your sleep is that like
flashlight in your face every hour.
Like every hour.
Jesus Christ. How are you not supposed to get in fights and be cranky if you're woken up every hour?
I know, right?
You just wrap your head up in a... Anyway, it sounded like they were having a good time, but it was pretty lax where we were for the most part.
Yeah, I've heard stories about the camp. I heard y'all had phones over there real easy and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, lots of phones and just tons of cigarettes. I
saw one phone at Talladega Medium, and it was a watch phone.
Oh, shit.
The whole time I was there. People aren't fucking with that extra year at the Medium, and there's nowhere to hide it.
They were like you'd go in the bathroom at like before lights were out, like and you'd hear guys talking on the phone in the toilets and stuff, like in the stalls. Mm-hmm. But like everybody had a cell phone that wanted one. There'd be chargers everywhere and fucking people wanting to charge shit in your cell, and you have to tell them no, because they'd want to charge their shit in your cell, and like now you get the time if you get caught.
Yeah, fuck that.
They'll add how much time where you were, Kyle?
The rule of thumb that I've been told is a year for a phone.
I have no idea. I certainly didn't have a phone.
Does getting in a fight add time to your stay?
It doesn't add time in that same sense, but it can remove your good time. You can lose your 52 days a year for good behavior that is automatically removed. I lost a lot of my good time for dumb shit. Like when I got caught with the rolling paper, I lost 52 days of good time. You're not really tripping about it until you get to the end of your sentence and you get to 52 days left until you're released and you're like, son of a bitch, I would have been home right now.
I think so. I think at some point, like maybe there'll be some prison reform in the next decade or so. I can't imagine these huge, crazy sentences going on for much longer, especially about like nonviolent crimes. Nonviolent stuff bothers me a lot.
Well,
the federal prison system is at 153% capacity. Last I checked, the long sentences are not sustainable.
It's crazy.
That's why we have 3-man cells at the mediums. You're not supposed to have 3-man cells.
They squeezed a third into mine at one point. It didn't last too long, but it was like, what the fuck? Like we're in our bunk bed, and he's like perpendicular to us against the back wall.
Yeah, that's how it is at Talladega, dude. The 3-man cells is a bunk bed against the window, and then a floor bed right here, like this, and then you got the toilet sink. No room.
Is the floor bed the most coveted?
No, fuck that. The floor bed doesn't have springs.
That's where everybody's ass is going to be all up in your grill, or people are moving around. People want to sit there, and also we don't have any kind of spring mats at the medium. They're the same beds, but the top bunk or the bottom bunk over there, you can either hit your head on the bunk or the ceiling. So they got their pros and cons.
Ceiling is so high. I don't know how high it is. It's so high. And they've got like really sick air conditioning going through the middle of the dorm, cooling.
Yeah, the big tunnels.
Bottom bunk has to be preferred. Right.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't my case, but I
was at. You want the bottom bunk.
Like
I would roll right off that top bunk.
Like my cellie at one point was that like late 50s, early 60s black guy. He's like 6'4" or something. Like he wasn't gonna be crawling up there. I was happy to take the top bunk.
Yeah, I was in good shape, so I was typically always down with younger dude gets the top bunk. That's fine.
Yeah, I didn't mind.
Especially if they don't have ladders. My county jail doesn't even have ladders. Like you just have to figure out how to get up there.
We had ladders. It's I woke up once and somebody had taken my ladder.
Oh, because they unhooked.
I was like, who took my fucking ladder?
Out of everything to steal, somebody was like, I just want to go to bed.
You look over, there's just one cell where they have 2 ladders.
He's like, I'm fat. I needed both of them. My legs don't go that close together.
My fucking ladder. And it's hard to get down without the ladder. It's not far, but
it's a leap of faith.
So, Josh, like obviously guitar, Spanish, stuff like that. As far as like your mental state, like mental skills, Do you think there's anything you learned from that prison experience that you're using actively in the free world, as you put it, like day to day?
Absolutely, man. It completely shaped who I am today, obviously. I joke around a lot, and I still like to mess around and, jokingly be toxic on RuneScape and stuff, man. Without threats, don't worry. I know where the legal line is now. I did not when I was 19. Now I know where that line in the sand is, and I stay on one side.
I can't believe you got in trouble for that.
Back on RuneScape.
I'm a full-time RuneScape streamer. I play it 5 hours, 6 hours a day now, on Twitch all day. It's still my favorite game.
What's your Twitch channel real quick so people can check it out?
My Twitch is Pillault, and I know that is a doozy. I didn't know I was going to be a Twitch streamer when I made that, but there's 3 L's. JPILLAULT. It's like you keep your pills in a pill vault, but you just take out the V. So it's Pillault is my Twitch. Hopefully we come up with something cool to change it to soon. The RS Felon was already taken, which is my name on RuneScape. But man, I saw so much about just observing in there will show you so much about how toxic ego is and how so many of the world's problems just come down to like, fuck you, no fuck you. On something completely ignorant where compromise could have easily been found if one person would budge a little bit, and how evil polarization is and how much compassion, humanity we lose when people are on opposite sides of the fence from us. Sorry about that alarm. So many things that are just like, could have not even been an issue, but one guy had to be, I'm Big Billy Badass and I run this bitch. And just like, I learned a lot about compromise, hearing each other out and working towards middle grounds, how much that can really stop. I learned about the power of hope. Because like I said, these guys that wake up every day doing a life sentence, man, somewhere inside of them, there's a tiny grain of hope, even if it's pointless and it gets them through every day. And also one thing that I came to understand in a new light was friendship, which I believe is under the umbrella term of love. If you will forgive me, gay. But like the powerful force of love and having friends that you really care about, that you have a good sense of humor with, to vibe with, and you can spend time with, can get you through like anything, dude. Like sharing that burden with somebody that you trust and care about, even if you're not talking about it, man, but just sitting there next to that dude every day, knowing he's your homie and that you got this dude to laugh with at the end of the day. I learned a lot about, the resiliency of humans, man, and the malleability and the things that we can overcome. And definitely came out a much stronger person mentally. I try to be very balanced in all things in life now. I try to see both sides. That was definitely something I was not into beforehand. I try to see the positive and all negative. I try to use everything as a lesson in life. No matter how small it might seem, you might accidentally drop your keys on the way to the door. And you have a small lesson there in mindfulness, just tiny things like that, that really got me through day to day. And one thing that I'm really big about is
how many of your peers do you think left with this enlightenment? Because it's not what I think of it when I hear felon.
Very few. Yeah. Very few. There's that 91% at the lowest end percent of men in America either have been in prison before or that are in prison now, either have been before or will be back or have been twice. I'm in that percentage. The system is set up to make you fucking fail. There's no doubt about that. You can ask Kyle about it. They're popping up at your house 10 days, random drug test, then they hit you the next day trying to catch you slipping, Most people don't come out with any kind of improved view, it would seem. Most people come out either the same or sometimes worse. The first time that I got out, I thought I had a better mindset. I ended up violating, relapsing, going right back. And the second time that I was in, I really got it down. And I decided that they weren't going to hold me back. I didn't care if the fucking prosecutors called me a school shooter every day for the rest of my life. I didn't care what my hometown thought. I didn't care what any of these people said or did. I was going to get out and I was going to do right. And I was going to get my life together, focus on moving forward, stay sober, and just climb up from the bootstraps. And I realized that prior to my incarceration, I just wanted to sit around and be one of the type of people that blames everybody else for their problems. I was everybody's not helping me, I need a car to get a job and I need a job to get a car. I'm stuck. I need help. Like it was always poor me. And when I was in there, I realized that I'd had the opportunity all along to do whatever the fuck that I wanted. Because when you don't have freedom, you kind of look at that differently, like I could have, now I can't, even if I want to get an education, now I can't. And I had the opportunity then and I was just wasting it. You kind of start seeing things that way.